So apparently Phil Spencer is defending the Xbox Series X when the console isn't even out yet. Or is he? We've got all of the details here. Bear with me. Let's get into it. What is going on, guys? Dealer back again with yet another video talking about an interview that happened a couple weeks ago now, but at the end of the day I have not covered it yet. I got enough DMs about it even to this day on Phil Spencer and his motivation on why Xbox are scaling their games across multiple versions of the Xbox and Xbox One family. Now BG247 have of course spun this into some kind of negative of Phil damage controlling or defending the launch of Series X, when in fact it's nothing really but a positive message from the boss of Xbox. So, the article says, Phil Spencer defends the lack of launch exclusives on Xbox Series X. The player is at the center. Now, there's much more, but the article starts by saying, Xbox Executive Vice President of Gaming, Phil Spencer, has opened up about Microsoft's plans to go into the next generation of consoles with Xbox Series X. Now, I agree with him on this. Forget what you know about previous generations, because this one is already playing out quite differently. That, sir, is an absolute fact. And just in case you guys forgot, they plan on launching multiple different versions of the same game, for example Halo Infinite, across multiple different versions of consoles. It says here, the idea is that first-party titles such as Halo Infinite will launch on Xbox models, all of them, but the Xbox Series X will have the highest fidelity. If you're familiar with the way PC gaming works, you should pretty much have all of this nailed down in your brain by now. Now, to many people, this is pro-consumer because you can take your older Xbox and play newer games on it. You get more out of the money you've spent in the ecosystem. Phil Spencer is apparently defending this or damage controlling this, according to some, with the following statements. Phil says, one of the benefits of being at Microsoft is that we've obviously been close to the development of things on PC for years. Phil explains, I think today if we look at the PC ecosystem, we see some of the best and most high fidelity games anywhere. A lot of these games are sitting on high-end PCs, but some of them can run on much less capable PCs as well. Phil says the state of engines and capability today means that developers have the capability to make full use of the gaming hardware that is in front of them. Keep that in mind. They are able to get a massive amount of scaling from a single GPU on PC today, and that is essentially through shotgun optimization and an API. Imagine how much more they can get when they are focused on 1 or 2 or even 4 or 5 consoles. It's not really all that big a deal to many developers. And remember, I only say that because of things like dev kits that include multiple versions of Xbox in one console. Push a button optimize, also add to that things like game core. When it comes down to it, you are scaling things up and down, sometimes just the resolution. So targeting multiple different versions of the same console isn't as big a deal as some might think. It's not like coding for the PlayStation version and then moving over and porting an Xbox version. It is not like that. It is simple scaling. Not that it will make things any easier on them, but when it comes down to it, they can choose what platforms they develop for. They are not forced or mandated to program for the older Xbox One consoles. Microsoft are speaking specifically for themselves right here. If Ubisoft want to release an exclusive next-gen only game, they can do that. If they want to target that bigger install base of the original Xbox One, they can do that as well. If they cannot handle it or are ill-equipped to do so, they will not do so. At least that's the idea. Bottom line, Phil is saying they can get the most out of the hardware that's in front of them, and it is scalable just like the PC ecosystem. This is the idea. And I do agree, some of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life. Look at Arkham Knight. This game is 5 years old. One of the best looking games ever made even to this day on PC hardware. This is running on an RTX 2080, 60 FPS, 4K, all of the goods, bells and whistles. Phil's quote continues, obviously we've built our strategy with Series X. We started with that in mind. We wanted to go build a gaming console that could be the absolute best that we could deliver. He also says they wanted to deliver unique capabilities to creators, and by that he's talking about things like the SSD being integrated directly into the GPU of the console, meaning the SSD is a massive virtual RAM cache. They can use this SSD to store live game assets. You've heard it on this channel a million times, but it is is very much real. And he says they wanted to do this so creators could deliver the best games. However, he says you do not want to do this to the exclusion of everybody else. He says you also want to do that hand in hand with developers, because developers want to find the widest possible audience. And yes, there are always trade-offs. Now, this next quote is very interesting because this is something I've been saying for quite a while now, and Phil confirms that here. He says, "I'm not going to dictate to every third-party developer what they have to support," meaning consoles, platforms, etc. But what we see today is that gamers want to play with their friends, regardless of their device. People want to have the largest selection of games open to them. Developers want to make use of the best technology that's available. We built this plan with all three of those inputs, and we feel really good about where we are. Now again, that is Phil's official response apparently to why they are saying, hey, let's go ahead and let the games be playable on the base consoles all the way up to the ultra high-end Xbox Series X. As I mentioned before, you are likely looking at ultra high-end PC versions of games running at double the frame rate of most all games running on current generation Xboxes and PlayStations today, especially those that are open world, things like that. Add better visual settings to that, along with better physics, etc. That's what you're getting with the next Xbox and PlayStation even. Regardless of any kind of performance delta, you are getting a really great experience on these boxes, and they are definitely the most balanced systems of all time. Bill is saying we are not dictating what developers have to code for, but of course we are making those options available, and we have the absolute best console technology available to them on the high end. On the console side, we know developers want the best technology possible, and we know people want to play with their friends regardless of device. Bill is very in tune with what consumers want, or at least what most normal consumers, you might not find in the comments here, want in their gaming device. One thing I could say for sure is it doesn't seem like damage control or defense at all. It seems like common sense to me, and this is somebody who prefers console gaming but also has a pretty killer rig. We've mentioned it on this channel over and over and over. We've talked about it in the comments together. This is much like PC going forward. This will not be limited to Xbox. Keep this in mind. Scalability is key. I've said this a billion times for a reason, because it is the natural progression of things. Even though your game may be available here or there, keep in mind that most all multi-platform games are on PC and they have a minimum spec they must meet. If you are worried about games being held back by something like an Xbox One, well, for one, we don't know what games will be available there for how long, likely only another year or two after Series X, but also you have to meet those minimum specs on the PC side. So regardless, according to that logic, you're always held back. When it comes to first party, Microsoft are very good at scaling games up and down. They've been doing it on PC for quite a while. But again, hey, let me know what you guys think down below. I found it very interesting. I hadn't quite covered it yet. Got a lot of DMs about it. Thank you guys so much for keeping in tune and checking in with me and making sure I'm up to date on all this stuff. The source to this will be down below, along with the original podcast this interview happened on. If you liked the video, maybe hit the like button, maybe show this to a buddy or two, and of course, thank you so much for powering the channel. You guys are awesome. Subscribe if you haven't. Again, links down below to the Patreon. If you want to become a channel member, hit that join button. It helps out more than you know. And if you didn't share the videos, they really wouldn't go anywhere. So thanks again for those who do that. You guys really are, you're awesome. What can I say? What can I say? It's amazing. So again, the future of gaming is very, very bright on all sides. I would dare say some of the best it's ever been coming here soon, and that's given everything rolls smoothly with developer tools and things like that. We should get a ton of great games that look incredible with ultra fast load times. Microsoft are investing more in gaming than they ever have. Sony will obviously keep the games coming, and as an Xbox guy, I am very excited to see how these multi-platform games run and perform, as well as their first party stuff. Pretty much look forward to the ultra settings, the high settings coming across the board down to console at 60 FPS with ray tracing in many cases. I find it very, very exciting. But hey, once again, let me know your thoughts. I'm Dealer. I'm out.